Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. Now, after my previous video on AGFS, I had a question posted to me, which is whether I think the stock can go to the $10 price range in the coming weeks, coming months. The question was if I think the stock could go to $10 this year. And to be frankly honest, I don't know. So the simple answer is I don't know, but let me share with you what I could consider in coming up with some type of a decision on as to whether I think that is possible or not. So let's take a look at some of those things I would consider. And let's begin here with a 2-year weekly chart. We can see that the stock is showing that the weekly chart continues to hold above 69.1. So as long as the weekly is above 69.1, there is a chance that it looks like it is sideways to maybe even higher. So holding above 69.1 is key to whether it continues seeing higher prices in the short term. If we take a look at the daily, we can clearly see that the stock is back above the 69.1 threshold on the daily, which is good. So as long as the daily is above 69.1 and the weekly is above 69.1 on their weekly RSI, chances here are the stock is stable to bullish, which is what I'm assuming you'd want to see. Now let me just qualify something here is I would use the recent daily closing high as a level to watch. I would be concerned if the stock was to break below that short term, in other words, a failed daily breakout, and the level to watch there is if the stock moves below 7.20, which happens to be this previous daily closing high. So it broke out about 3-4 days ago, has held above that, which is good. But if it fails to hold above 7.20, chances are the daily breakout is stalling and we might be due for some type of a pullback. Interesting to note here that the stock has had a series of nice daily breakouts. It's been breaking out and not looking back. We can see a couple of examples of this. And here we have another breakout with at least 2 days of rest, which is the minimum requirement. Then there's another breakout here with at least 2 days of rest, or after at least 2 days of rest. Nice entry. Recently again, after a couple days of sideways action, it breaks out again here. So nice action on the daily, and right now it's doing another breakout, so it needs to hold above 7.20. Otherwise, failure to hold above this price is a sign of a stock that is getting tired. Also, you can watch the RSI lows line. As long as it is holding above this line, then the stock should be sideways to up. So as long as it is above that RSI lows line, it is sideways to up. So you can continue watching as long as this line is holding. I would be a little bit bothered if it breaks this line. If it breaks this line, chances are it is due now for a pullback of some magnitude. Now if you take a look at the hourly, this is what I think is going to stall the current movement higher. You can see that on the hourly, if you take the RSI top side, this has become a problem short term. You can even draw it this way. But what you see is the recent highs on the hourly RSI have been stalling the stock. So for now, we can say that clearly we don't go higher until such a time as when we move above this line. So short term, I think the stock has hit some type of a sentiment ceiling and is not going anywhere until it can break above these RSI top lines. So using this chart, I would say we don't see $10 or above the current range until it can clear this hourly resistance line. Let's take a look at the monthly. I want to show you something on the monthly. And right now on the monthly, if I draw a line connecting the previous support line here, so you can see we broke down last year in the summer. That break took the stock lower, substantially lower. So what we do is extend that line, and I think this line is becoming a problem in the current market. As you can see, we've been unable to move above this line so far. So I think that becomes some type of a problem. But watch the hourly chart for resistance, because until we can clear that hourly chart resistance, chances are this stock is not going to see $10 anytime soon. And let me show you something else to consider, which is the sector itself. Now keep in mind, about 15% of a stock's direction is based on the sector itself, and it is approximated that about 75% of any individual stock's movement is based on market direction. So you got general market and you got sector direction. So this is controlling, and if you go against the market, if the market is going one way, chances are your stock is following the market. And if the sector has a trend, chances are the stock or the stocks within the sector are going to follow the sector itself. So we always have to take a look at the sector. And when I take a look at the sector here, the picture is not as great. You can see an improvement in week to week prices here. So this is a weekly chart, 2-year weekly chart. We see an improvement, but take a look at the technicals. They've been making lower lows. That negative divergence is not very encouraging for the sector. And right now on the weekly chart, we have what looks like a failed weekly breakout. It's not a good sign unless it can hold the breakout, but this is a failed breakout as of right now. Depends on where it closes for the week, but if it closes below that line here, that's a failed weekly breakout. Not a good sign as of right now. Take a look at the long-term monthly chart, and if you take a look at the Dow Jones Specialty Chemicals Index all data monthly chart, I'll show you two lines. Line number one is we're coming back to test this break, and this break was actually instrumental in taking the sector down from 2015 off the highs there. Right now we are coming and making an improvement to all-time highs. As you can see, month to month, new all-time monthly closing highs. But take a look at the technicals also. Right now, if they stall around here, that's negative divergence, which is not a good sign unless this changes. And keep in mind that it is coming back to test the red line, which is the uniformity resistance line. Check the description for an explanation of this method. So you get an issue right there, that if it stalls around current levels, the sector is not looking good. And let me share one more line, which is a line connecting RSI highs going back to 07 and connecting the highs of 2013, 14 and 15. And you can see the stock is coming back to test this line. So definitely it needs to clear this topside RSI resistance line. Otherwise, if we end up having something that confirms that resistance there month to month, if we end up having resistance here, then that's definitely another sell signal. So I would say that until the stock can clear the hourly resistance line, so go back to AGFS, and I'm going to go to the hourly. So to conclude here, to answer the question whether the stock has a chance of going to $10, I would put it this way. It really depends on how it responds to this line on the hourly. Given the sector, monthly charts, and given this line, I would say until the stock can move above this hourly resistance line, chances are $10 is out of the table for now, until we can clear these resistance levels and until the monthly charts can clear the resistance levels discussed here. Those are the things I would consider. Otherwise, as always, good luck, peace, and blessings.